1985년 부산 도시철도 1호선 개통.
오빠야, 이제 지하철 생겨서 안 늦겠네.
세월이 흘러도 부산 도시철도는 변함없이 약속을 지켜드립니다. 35년간 함께한 약속 지킴이. 부산 도시철도는 신뢰입니다. 부산교통공사.
부산 도시철도. 이제 부산교통공사가 시민의 꿈과 희망을 싣고 새로운 100년을 열어가겠습니다.
오늘 하루도 내가 나로 온전하게 있을 수 있기를.
The birds fly south as the
지금 이렇게 바쁘고 마음이 분주하다고 생각했는데 내가 진짜 정말로 지금 해야 할 일은 무엇이지? 지금 내 몸이 어떻게 느끼고 있는지 한번 알아차려 봅니다.
네, 저희 만만한 녀석들은 부산의 마이스 산업이 좀 더 지속 가능한 산업이 될 수 있도록 처음 구조 설계부터 분리와 적재 그리고 설치를 고려하여 만들고 있습니다. 또한 이렇게 버려지는 자투리 나무를 활용하여 또 다른 상품들을 만들고 있어 친환경적인 기업으로 거듭나고자 합니다.
모다라 업체는 부산의 이미지뿐만 아니라 한국의 이미지를 다 모아서 주로 섬유 제품, 문화 상품을 개발하고 있는 업체입니다. 가방이나 스카프 등을 지금 현재 제작을 하고 있습니다. 그러니까 지금 현재로는 부산의 이미지를 가지고 개발을 시작을 했지만 이 다양한 컨텐츠를 개발을 하게 되면 부산의 여러 기업들, 그러니까 신발이나 도자기나 전자제품, 자동차까지 같이 공생해서 협력해서 제품을 개발할 수 있다는 점이 크리에이티브한 점이 아닐까요?
가족, 연인, 친구, 소중한 이들과 함께하는 특별한 추억 만들기. 신나는 음악에 몸을 맡기고 시원한 바닷바람에 마음을 맡겨보세요. 부산의 색다른 매력을 만끽할 수 있는 요트 투어. 아름다운 바다 위에서 즐기는 요트 체험, 요트 위크와 함께하세요. 이곳에서 꿈은 현실이 됩니다.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome here, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here. 안녕하세요 from Busan. Welcome to the Busan International Wellness Conference 2021. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Round of applause. It's so nice to see you here today. It's an absolute pleasure. My name is Laura McCluckey. I'm the co-organizer and co-founder of BIWC 2021 and also the CEO of WellMe Wellness Solutions. It's a huge honor to be an MC. You know what? You give me a mic and I will talk to you forever. But this event, I'm so proud to be here to share some diversified new wellness measures, messages, contents, and begin a new paradigm of wellness from right here in Busan, South Korea, especially following the success of last year's event. So, of course, we all know this is a global pandemic, and BIWC 2021 is a hybrid conference due to COVID-19. So, hello everyone on site. Thank you so much for doing your best to adhere to all the guidelines. We've got a small amount of participants on site, but we also have a huge amount of participants all across the world behind those cameras streaming in online. So hello from Busan. 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. It's so nice to see you all here, and I'm sure we're going to have a fabulous time together. So, let's get started. Let's get into BIWC 2021 Day 2. Today, we have so much prepared for you. We have keynote speeches, mini wellness classes, a K-wellness seminar, networking, and an exciting talk concert right here. Wellness professionals, advocates, and practitioners from all around the world have gathered here, right here in beautiful Busan, together for the International Wellness Conference 2021. So please do stay with us until the end. We've got lots of contents, very valuable insight into well, wellness in general, but of course, what wellness looks like in a post-COVID era and how Korea will play a big role in shaping what wellness looks like in the future. So, if you're ready, let's start the Busan International Wellness Conference 2021 together. So anytime you want to give a round of applause, we'll take it. It's all right. You can get, I saw you. You want, yeah, there we go. So it is my absolute pleasure to get straight into the contents for today and introduce our first keynote speaker. It's the CEO of the Wellness Tourism Association, Anne Diamond. Now, today she'll present a topic, Wellness Tourism, the Basics and the Future, as her keynote speech. And it's such a pleasure to have her here. She's an absolute powerhouse in the wellness industry, in wellness tourism and travel. She regularly speaks on the subjects of wellness tourism and travel. She's hosted webinars for the Travel Institute and continues to contribute to various publications. There's never a day when she's not busy with wellness. She's a world-renowned professional. Absolutely delighted to be able to welcome her here today to Busan International Wellness Conference 2021. Please, everybody, let's meet her. Give a big round of applause for Anne Diamond.
Hello and greetings from Canada. My name is Anne Diamond, and I'm honored to be here today with you to speak on the topic of wellness tourism, the basics and the future. Thank you, Laura, for the invitation. As co-founder and president of the Wellness Tourism Association, I'd like to first share just a few words about this global organization. The WTA was officially launched in January of 2018, and we now have members and partners across 20 plus countries, including, I'm proud to say, South Korea. Incorporated as a not-for-profit in the USA, the mission of the WTA is to support the sustainable future of wellness tourism for the global good by bringing standards to the industry and clarity to all interested parties, including consumers. I say global good because just like wellness living, wellness tourism also incorporates wellness for the planet. Now let's review a few of those basics. As many of you know, prior to the pandemic, the wellness tourism sector of the industry was said to be growing faster than the tourism industry itself. Yet it remains a relatively new and still evolving concept. I know the Global Wellness Institute agrees with me that the terms and concepts surrounding wellness tourism really started taking off around 2008. The WTA Glossary of Industry Definitions, the first, to my knowledge, glossary of its kind, looks at wellness tourism as a specific division of the global tourism industry that is defined by the common goal of marketing natural assets and activities primarily focused on serving the wellness-minded consumer and those who want to be. Now, while they are often interchanged, the term wellness tourism is not synonymous with wellness travel, which the WTA defines, as you can see here, travel that allows the traveler to maintain, enhance, or kickstart a healthy lifestyle and support or increase one's sense of well-being. Tourism is the industry, travel is the activity, just like retail is the industry and shopping is the activity. What was once considered a trend has resulted in a new development in the way we travel, and has even resulted in a new lexicon, including wellness travel, wellness resorts, taking over from destination spas, and wellness vacations. And here's how the WTA defines that term, wellness vacation. And you'll find the complete glossary on the WTA website as we continue to add terms as the industry evolves. Now, one of the basic and prevailing misconceptions is that wellness travel is all about the luxury experience. Someone reached out to me from Nepal the other day with regard to his multi-day hiking excursions. He told me that a Europe-based consultant had informed him that hiking in the Himalayas on a mobile camping excursion was not wellness travel because it was not luxury. Of course, I told him that I totally disagreed with that consultant. What could be more of a wellness travel experience than hiking and being out in nature? Yes, wellness travel can certainly be a luxury experience, but it doesn't have to be. And we are seeing it become more accessible and more inclusive. Also, luxury, like beauty, can be subjective. Another misconception is that wellness travel is all about the spa experience. While spa treatments and therapies can certainly be a wonderful addition to wellness travel or a wellness vacation, spa visits are not mandatory. There's a lot of belief out there around the globe that it's all about the spa experience, but it is so much more. Now, as they move from pampering to prevention, I believe that spas led the charge into wellness travel and ultimately wellness tourism. Spas, spa treatments, and the total spa experience will continue to be regarded under the umbrella of wellness. But for those hotel owners and managers listening in today, hear me. Even if you do not have a spa, you can still offer packages under the umbrella of wellness. So please reach out to me anytime to discuss further, and I'll be giving you my contact info at the end of the presentation. When it comes to medical tourism versus wellness tourism, most people now understand that they are not the same thing. The WTA looks at wellness tourism as being more proactive with one's health and well-being, and medical tourism as being more reactive, as in treating a medical condition or providing procedures that are more invasive, such as cosmetic surgery. The area where medical and wellness overlap, and it's a relatively new term, is called medical wellness. And I'll talk more about that as we look at the future of wellness tourism. Now, if you're a traveler listening in and are asking yourself, so am I a wellness traveler? The quick answer is, you can be if you want to be. The WTA defines wellness travelers as very simply a traveler who makes wellness the primary purpose of the trip. Yes, there are certainly others who drive the demand, but a true wellness traveler is the one who makes wellness the primary focus. They are not traveling for business, a wedding, a family reunion, but instead put wellness as the focus of their trip, and that makes them true wellness travelers. Now, for those business owners and managers listening in and who want to identify a target market, today, the general demographic for those who travel with wellness as the main focus is women 25 to 55 with a higher education. Of course, that does not mean that they are the only ones driving demand. Think about it. Anyone can adopt a wellness lifestyle and want to integrate wellness type activities and practices into their travels, regardless of the specific purpose of those travels. In our recent consumer surveys, we also had more men responding. So that could mean that more men are becoming more interested in wellness travel. So that's a quick look at the basics. And now on to the future of wellness tourism. So when we look at the future, what do we see? What do we see? Well, no one really knows for certain. Many are predicting, myself included, that the wellness tourism sector will bounce back stronger than ever. Many of our WTA members are already seeing a significant increase in bookings as travel resumes. That's not only from pent-up demand, but more people looking at health as a new priority. Everyone is looking at wellness with a new perspective in a post-pandemic world. For those of you in the industry with a travel or hospitality business or represent a DMO, you may be asking yourself, is this a good time to embrace wellness tourism? In a word, yes. And here's why. If there's one good thing that has come out of the pandemic, it's been a renewed belief that, as the saying goes, health is the greatest wealth. For many, the concept of personal health through proactive self-care has become and will continue to be a new priority in our lives. Aren't we all taking the state of our health just a little bit more seriously? At least thinking about choices we make about food, creating time on a regular basis for more movement in our lives, learning how to balance our immune systems to help us more effectively fight future viruses? Many more of us are. Industry research tells us that is those that already live their lives with health as a core value who have been the main drivers behind the demand for wellness travel and the unprecedented growth of wellness tourism over the last decade. So doesn't it follow that as more people adopt the concept of proactive health as a core value, this will continue to help drive demand for wellness travel, which will in turn allow wellness tourism to grow and prosper in the coming years. So yes, it's a good time to embrace this growing and evolving sector of the tourism industry. And there's plenty of information out there to help you do just that. For instance, in 2020, the WTA partnered with Laszlo Puxo, a fellow presenter here at BIWC, of health tourism worldwide, on a first of its kind survey that interviewed academics and industry representatives on the future of wellness tourism. Now, WTA members can easily access that info from the WTA website and the special login for members, but others will find the info at the Health Tourism Worldwide website. I'm sure Laszlo has it up there and people can easily download if they register. Also in 2020, our Wellness Travel Consumer Survey offers information on what consumers are telling us about the future. So we conducted the survey in the spring of last year, had close to 4,000 participants from 48 countries and territories telling us their top motivations for taking a wellness vacation once they felt comfortable traveling again. This chart indicates the motivations that were rated most highly. Here's what we asked. We asked them, when it comes time to book a wellness vacation or holiday, what would be your main motivation? Now, in order to respond to that question, participants were asked to rate each of 28 possible motivations on a scale of 1 to 7. 1 represented not important at all, and 7 representing the most important. Respondents were pretty evenly split between those who identified as either male or female. Close to 80% were between the ages of 40 and 74, Gen X and boomers, followed by millennials, age 26 to 39. So way over half indicated they had a bachelor's degree or higher education, and close to half had an income of 75,000 plus. It was interesting to note that while 71% said they'd never been on a designated wellness vacation, close to 78% indicated they generally include practices and activities when they travel, which supports existing research that demand is being driven primarily by those who want to incorporate wellness into their travels, and not those who make wellness the main focus. Now, that may very well change post-pandemic, but right now, that's what surveys are showing us. Another bright sign for the future, 74% told us they are currently planning a wellness vacation. And here's the breakdown on that. And we see millennials leading the drive. Now, we've just finished wrapping up our 2021 Wellness Travel Consumer Survey. And while we have not finished the complete analysis, we can tell you that close to 2,500 consumers told us that these 6 items were extremely important to them as they begin to travel again. We asked them to rate 16 different offerings on a scale from extremely important to not important at all. These 6 are the ones they told us that were extremely important. No surprise, a safe and clean hotel room tops the list. We are going to completely analyze that survey and have all the information available in the next couple of months. Now, if you're a travel agent, a wellness retreat leader, or a wellness practitioner, or anyone just thinking of launching a wellness travel-related business, there's a complete course to help you embrace that wellness space. So earlier this year, the WTA partnered with the Travel Institute to create the Wellness Travel Specialist course. While it is intended for travel agents, there's useful info for anyone looking to specialize or start a business. It also includes savvy advice from industry insiders. So far, we've had over 100 agents take the course. It takes about 15 to 20 hours to complete. There's a course, there's a test if you want to actually become certified, and the complete course is $59 US. So let's take a look now at new developments as we move into the future. Now, we're not calling these trends because everyone seems to be coming out with their own wellness travel trends now. And trends typically mean they are here today and gone tomorrow, like goat yoga, for instance. I like to think of new developments in the industry like these. More travel agents and advisors wanting to learn about wellness travel so they can better serve their clients. More hospitality brands either implementing new wellness initiatives or highlighting and promoting those that already exist. More DMOs representing geographic regions around the world looking to launch wellness initiatives, and some even looking to position themselves as wellness destinations. And I'm going to elaborate on that in just a moment. Access to medical wellness programs will become available. More on that too. Embracing more than just luxury experience, wellness travel will become more accessible and more inclusive. More programs will be geared to mental wellness and a sense of well-being. Demand for wellness staycations will increase. As travel resumes, people will travel, but many will stay closer to home, their own country, or a short flight away, especially for the next few years. So for any marketers listening in, don't ignore your local audiences. There'll be more nature-centric programs and activities will be offered. Every consumer survey we've done over the past few years has indicated how important nature is, and it will be increasingly important post-pandemic. Regenerative, sustainable, responsible travel will become increasingly important to the wellness-minded traveler. We're hearing those terms a lot. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that I would elaborate a bit on the term medical wellness. Well, medical tourism and wellness tourism are two different streams. They do meet under the banner of medical wellness. And we're seeing more medical wellness offerings becoming available via the hospitality industry. To support this new development, the WTA has introduced a relatively new category for medical wellness with, of course, criteria, and that's included here on this slide. So now back to those DMOs looking to proclaim themselves as wellness destinations, which the WTA uses to refer to geographic destinations, not hotels and resorts. We call them wellness resorts and wellness hotels, wellness retreats. Now, while every geographic region may have something to offer wellness travelers, this does not automatically make them wellness destinations. In 2019, we issued 9 assets and amenities that geographic regions of the world should possess, should they be looking to promote themselves as wellness destinations. I say should, only as a suggestion. We cannot enforce it. People can market themselves as anything they wish. But here are these 9 points. It's a lot to read. So what I'd be happy to do is to send the info to any DMO reps listening in today. just reach out to me. And again, I have my contact info at the end. So is the word wellness being overused, and are we at risk of overexposure? Yes. In many cases, the word wellness is strictly for marketing purposes with no substance behind it. And that is one of the reasons the WTA has set criteria for anyone in the industry, including travel agents and other individuals wanting to become a member. We want the WTA logo to be a symbol for consumers to identify industry stakeholders who have met, at the very least, some basic criteria. And that is one of the ways the WTA is helping bring standards to the industry. And if we want the industry to be sustainable and continue to develop, I know many of you will agree with me that it needs some standards. On a final note, wellness tourism is evolving as wellness travel becomes more inclusive, more accessible, more nature-centric. The bottom line is that wellness tourism sector will continue to grow and develop for two simple reasons. One, an increasing number of us adopt healthy lifestyles. We will look to work elements of wellness into our travels. It makes sense. Number two, as more of us are becoming more knowledgeable about the benefits of proactive healthcare, we're using our vacation and holiday time for self-care. And that may mean learning about ourselves and what we need to do to meet our desired state of health, wellness, and well-being. I see the day when we might all be taking an annual wellness vacation, doing it for body, mind, and soul. Wellness tourism. The future looks bright. Thank you so very much for your
Ladies and
time.
gentlemen, please give it up for Anne Diamond. Fantastic presentation there. Thank you so much, Anne, for your insight, for your expertise. And I'm sure Busan will be seeing you soon. And I'm certainly looking forward to the day where Busan will be a registered and recognized international wellness tourism city. Okay, next, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our next speaker. I would like to introduce Yonsei University professor and medical wellness tourism expert, Professor Ki Nam-jin. He's here. Yes, please give him a huge round of applause.
Hello, this is Professor Ki Nam-jin from Yonsei University. It is an honor for me to have this great opportunity to make a speech. Today, I'd like to talk about the future of Busan international wellness tourism industry. First, I'd like to talk about the COVID-19 challenges for tourism market. And I'd like to make a market forecast. Based on my market forecast, I'd like to suggest Busan's coping strategies to prepare for the post-COVID wellness tourism market. Okay, let me first talk about the COVID-19 challenges for tourism market. For the past year, the tourism industry has been severely injured, damaged by COVID-19 pandemic. We have experienced a sharp reduction of travelers, as you know. There was an 86% reduction in inbound travelers during 2020. Busan showed 87% reduction in travelers during the same period. We have seen a reduced wellness travel demand. Because of border shutdowns, wellness tourists have been forced to cancel their travel plans. During the same period, we have seen a number of tourism businesses go out of business. there was a sharp, the closure of travel businesses. 883 travel agencies in South Korea have gone out of business. 73 travel agencies in Busan closed their business. This is an example of just tip of the iceberg. Can you see the end of COVID-19 pandemic? Probably not. In this uncertain situation, I'd like to make a short-term market forecast. We'll see the growth of domestic medical tourism market. Even in this turbulent period, we have seen a lot of travelers are coming to Busan to enjoy their summer vacation. Instead of going abroad, they are coming to Busan or Gangneung. According to UNWTO panel experts from around the world, domestic demand would recover faster than international demand. After COVID-19 pandemic, domestic medical tourism will precede international medical tourism. We'll see the rebound of wellness tourism market. In year 2017, international wellness tourists on average spent $1,528 per trip. It is 53% more than the typical international tourist. After COVID-19 pandemic, there will be a significant shift towards wellness services. We have seen the growing concern for marginal immune response to COVID-19. People have suffered the COVID-19 related stress. We also have seen the growing interest in well-being. People started embracing slow living. All these changes resulted in the growing demand for wellness services. People are looking for boosting immune system and relaxation. We'll see the geographic segmentation of medical wellness tourism market. We'll see the growth of short distance travel market. Travelers would avoid long distance travel for the time being. So now let's talk about Busan's coping strategies. What should be done? First of all, I'd like to suggest Busan needs to develop the infrastructure for product development. Busan needs to focus more on creating product portfolio. Medical services need to be combined with wellness services and tourism resources to create unique and attractive products. From my opinion, most of the local governments so far failed to identify wellness facilities and genuine wellness services in the region. The local government officials and the businessmen, they did not have a firm understanding of what wellness means. So it's time for us to study more on the meaning of wellness and also how to apply, how to identify the services and how to develop it as a global product. I create this table. I used to use this. In the case of medical services, we can think of some subcategories like tertiary care or primary care, rehabilitation, and beauty care. So far, in medical tourism market, South Korea has been quite competitive in beauty care, cosmetic surgery, or dermatology, skincare. Oh, okay, now let's look at the wellness services. There are several subcategories. The first one is beauty and anti-aging. In this subcategory, South Korea has quite competitive product. We have skincare service. As you know, the South Korean cosmetic industry developed. And also South Korea's cosmetic surgery techniques are quite well known worldwide. So I think these cosmetic surgery products and cosmetic surgery services can make a synergy effect with skincare services. In the case of a spa and massage, I've suggested we need to develop hair spa as our unique services. Koreans, we have quite high demand on our appearance and hair. So we developed good skills and services in hair spa area. So we need to make it as a global product. In spa, we have 찜질방. When I met the world-renowned expert in wellness tourism industry, I explained her about the 찜질방. After she listened to my explanation, she redefined 찜질방. I really like her definition. She defined that 찜질방 equals community-based spa. I like her redefinition of it. So we have our unique product. In Busan, you have Spa Land. And also massage. In massage industry, Vietnam, China, Thailand, they already took the higher position in the market. In South Korea, we have a healing cafe where customers can experience high-tech massage chair. I think we can develop this as a tourism product. In fitness and mind body, we have a temple stay. We have yoga. In Busan, you have yacht yoga class. Busan also has nice and variety of fitness tracking courses. How about healthy eating? You have temple food. And you have cooking class. This is really good product. And also medicine cuisine. In complementary and alternative medicine, Busan has forest healing. And Busan used to develop thalassotherapy. It was not so successful so far from my perspective. Of course, in South Korea, we have Korean traditional medicine. Some Oriental clinics, they developed herbal tea cafes. So we have a variety of services. However, we failed to globalize these products. These services have been just targeted just to Koreans. So we need to think of how to globalize these services. And these are the subcategories of tourism. I think in tourism resources, one of our weak points is we fail to develop wellness resort. Of course, in Busan, you have Ananti. But in the in the most of the other local governments, they do not have a good wellness resort. People want to just stay in the resort. They want to spend a few days. They want to use the services inside that complex. However, we fail to provide that services. The foreign guests, they simply stay at the hotel and then they have to look for the services outside the hotel. They need to search. They have to look around to find out the services. I don't think this is a good way. People, you cannot attract the pure wellness tourist. I want to explain the product portfolio once again by focusing on the desire, customer's desire. The traveler whose desire is to be beautiful may want to use cosmetic surgery, and she may want to use skincare in wellness services category. And then she may look for shopping for fashion because she is interested in her appearance. How about the customer whose desire is to be healthy? The customer may look for healthy exam services and look for fitness and mind-body services and healthy food. So Busan should try to provide a variety of services to satisfy the customers. Busan also needs to produce new products. You need to create the products for boosting immunity and stress management or COVID-19 recovery. Now, the second part is service innovation. This is the time. I think this is a very critical moment for us to review ourselves and rebuild our infrastructure and improve our service. We have, in the case of tourism industry, we simply, if the government gives them a certain budget, they simply used it for marketing. But the real problem is we do not have a clear understanding of our destination brand. We fail to create it. What is the brand? What is the destination brand of Busan? I don't know. So first of all, you need to create the brand essence. You need to create the brand. And then based on this brand conception, the next stage is to spend money for marketing. However, we failed to make our brand, but we simply used up our budget for marketing. So that's the reason why our marketing was not efficient. We need to develop the protocols for the new normal. We need to improve our organizational preparedness. We need to strengthen the capability to screen travelers for COVID-19 symptoms. We need to make the guidelines of safe experience for wellness tourists. We need to adopt the touchless interface technology to guarantee the safe travel. We also need to actively adopt digital service delivery. We need to think of virtual retreat experience. In the case of Greece, they developed Euphoria Healing Journey program. We also should think about digital value-added services like advice and education, provision of useful information on the clinical management of COVID-19 would provide assurance to the future customers. The last one is branding and marketing, as I mentioned. We should focus more on branding. Okay, some countries like Thailand, India, Malaysia, actually, most of the key countries in this tourism market, they successfully built their destination brand. Some countries like Thailand, India, Malaysia, and Turkey, I think they create their brand essence. The brand essence would be retreat in nature. The popular sites in these countries are usually coastal cities, like Chiang Mai, Chennai, Penang, Istanbul. Most of the key areas are coastal cities. So their brand essence, the retreat in nature, this promise, they can make this promise. How about US, Germany, Japan, and South Korea? Most of the popular sites in these countries are inland cities. So I think the brand essence of these countries is like urban retreat. So what is the destination brand of Busan? Busan is a coastal city. In developing medical wellness tourism industry, Busan is competing with Seoul. Busan is competing with Daegu and Incheon. Busan should create your own unique brand. Seoul has already positioned as urban retreat. So Busan, I think, should be positioned as the destination, providing retreat in nature. You should think about creating your brand. Medical Korea is the brand we have used for the last 12 years to develop our medical tourism industry. Smart Care has been the brand slogan we have used for over 10 years. But I asked my government, it's time for us to change our brand slogan. So we finally changed our brand slogan last year. This is a new slogan. South Korea, where your days begin again. So I tried to adopt the customer's perspective rather than the provider's perspective. So we changed the brand slogan to develop our medical tourism industry. However, in wellness tourism, we do not have any brand so far. Our government, South Korea, we do not have a destination brand. Busan doesn't have any brand. That's the real problem. So it's time for us to think more about how to create our brand essence, brand concepts. So once we create this firmly, then we can go to the next stage of making a planning strategy for marketing. Thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you so much, Professor Kim Nam-jin. Once more, 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 고맙습니다. Thank you so much. I had so many more lovely things to say about you, but everyone wanted to jump in with the applause, so I'm not going to stop them. Absolutely fantastic, and we're excited to have you in our talk concert as well. Thank you so much, Professor. Okay, it's time to move on to the next segment. Is everyone feeling okay? A little bit. We've been sitting for a long time, right? So let's refresh our bodies because today, of course, wellness is the goal. So following the success of last year, we've prepared a little moment for you just now. I would like to invite WellMe Wellness Solutions Senior Mind and Body Instructor to the stage, Jen Pham. Now, Jen will lead a session called Reset the Mind and Body, and we can try it together. So, everybody, 참여 많이 해주시고요. All you need is your body, your chair, and an open mind. So, please give a warm welcome to Jen Pham. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Laura, and thank you to everyone here for allowing me to be your yoga guide today. And for those of you who are following at home, thanks for tuning in. Like Laura said, we're going to be doing a very simple and hopefully relaxing chair yoga flow that you'll be able to hopefully practice anytime, anywhere, so long as you have a chair with you. Okay, so let's jump right in. Jump right in by coming to the edge of your seat and placing the feet hip width apart right in front of you. Okay, and then placing the knees right over the ankles. Okay. We're going to tap into the breath by closing down the eyes or having a soft gaze here. Pressing into all four corners of the feet. Start to tap into the breath. Let's lift that pelvic floor. Use that energy to lengthen the spine by dropping the shoulders away from the ears and pressing the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Just taking a moment to inhale through the nose, letting that breath expand the rib cage and balloon out the belly. On the exhale, we're going to draw that navel into the spine, zip up that rib cage, and let the breath flow out of the nose or the mouth. Just like that. Begin to notice all of the sights or the sounds around you. Letting the hips get really heavy, feeling the support of the chair underneath you. Let's do one more full breath together. Big inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, we start to flutter the eyes open, keeping the gaze nice and soft here. Right away, we're going to sit up nice and tall. Again, pulling the shoulders back, pinching the shoulder blades. We're going to come into a forward fold, starting at the hips. So inhale, look forward. Exhale, we're going to lean forward, dropping the chest onto the top of the thighs. And those of you who are here, you might need to pull the chair back just a bit and release the head right over the knees. Letting the hands fall to the floor and just letting go here for a moment. Let's find some space between each vertebrae by rolling up slowly on the inhale. Here we go. Roll up from the base of the spine, one vertebrae at a time, the head arriving last. Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Inhale, look forward, roll the shoulders back. Exhale from the waist with the heart space leading first. Start to drop that chest right over the knees and let the hands go along with the head. Okay, here we go. We're going to roll back up on the inhale. Again, feeling the spine click into place as the head arrives last at the very top. Now we're going to come into some seated cat-cows. So placing the hands either on the knees or the tops of the thighs, whatever feels comfortable for you. We're going to inhale, roll the shoulders back, and then find a gentle compression in the lower back as you send the chest forward. And then maybe if your neck is comfortable, maybe take a gaze upwards. And on the exhale, we're going to reverse that by pulling that navel into the spine, tucking the chin into the chest, and then taking a peek at the belly button. We're going to sync the movement with the breath. Here we go. Inhale. And then exhale. Let's reverse that. Pull that navel into the spine. Let's do one more. Inhale, big breath in. Here we go. Look up. And then exhale as we come back to a neutral spine. We're gonna introduce the hands with the same movement. So hands interlace in front of the chest. We're gonna inhale, send the fingers away from the chest as we breathe up and over. Again, finding that gentle back bend here. Gentle compression in the lower back. Exhale, send the hands forward and pausing halfway. That's it, here we go. Inhale, big reach, big breath. And then exhale back to halfway. One more inhale, but this time we're gonna pause at the very top and then we're gonna twist and turn to the right as much as your waist will allow, and then let the head trail a little bit further. Release the hands. The left hand is gonna come outside of that right knee and drop the right hand on the back of the chair. Let's look over the right shoulder as we find a gentle twist here. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to deepen that twist. Look over that right shoulder. That's it. Keep breathing. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twist. Look over that shoulder. And then let's come back to center. Let's get the other side. So here we go. Interlace the fingers. Inhale. We're going to reach out and up. Exhale. Let's take it out to the front. That's it. Inhale one more time. Big reach, big stretch. And then exhale back to halfway. Last one. Let's make it good. Inhale, reach up. And then we're going to twist and turn to the opposite side this time. Let the head trail a little bit further and then drop the hands. The right arm is going to come outside of that left knee. Wrap your hands around the back of the chair and send your gaze right over that left shoulder. A delicious little inner massage for all your inner organs. Keep breathing here as we sit up nice and tall on the inhale. Exhale, deepen that stretch. One more breath here together. Inhale. And then exhale, reach, reach, reach. And then we're gonna release and come back to center. Beautiful. Now, I want you to, as comfortably as you can, go ahead and take a wide-legged stance here in your chair. Doesn't have to be super wide, just find a comfortable spot where you can feel your hips are getting a nice little stretch here. Okay. Again, taking our knees right over the ankles, pressing into all four corners of the feet here. We're gonna do a wide-legged forward fold. So inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, we're gonna take our weight forward and then grab opposite elbows as we come down over the chair and then release the weight of the head right down towards the floor here. Keep breathing. On your next breath in, I want you to drop the left hand down, either on top of the left foot or grab that left ankle. As we inhale, we're gonna reach up with that right hand, coming into a twist over to the right side. Maybe send your gaze past the thumb. And then exhale, let's come down. And this time the right arm's gonna drop on top of the foot or the ankle, whatever feels comfortable for you. On the inhale, reach up, up, up towards the sky. Look past the thumb. Keep breathing here. That's it. Let's cycle one more time. Back to the left side. Here we go. Walk the hands over to the left side. Inhale, reaching up. And then exhale, let's come back down. See if you can get even deeper this time of the right side. Once again, inhale, reach up. Nice work. And then back to center. And then we're gonna grab opposite elbows again, and then we're gonna roll up nice and slow, articulating that spine. Here we go, back up to center. Now I want you to take the bum and then scooch it over to the right edge of the chair. The left leg is gonna stay right where it is in a 90-degree angle, but see if you can heel toe that right foot straight. We're gonna come into a supported warrior 2. So press into the outer edge of that right foot. That's it. We're gonna press into the outer edge of that right foot, and then the arms are gonna come up on the inhale, and then we're gonna send our gaze over the left hand here. Lifting the chest, dropping the shoulders, looking over that left hand. Inhale, you're gonna shift your weight forward. Exhale, drop that right hand as we take the left up and over, coming into a reverse warrior. Beautiful. Let's come back to center. And this time you're gonna cycle all the way through. Drop that left forearm to the top of that left knee, and you're gonna come into a side angle. Here we go. Reach away with the right arm. Feel that stretch all the way down the right side. Nice work. Let's come back to center. And then back to warrior two, to center line. Here we go. Let's do that one more time and get even deeper this time. Okay, look over that left hand. Inhale to shift the weight forward. Exhale, let's take it up and over. And then we're gonna cycle all the way through, coming into that extended side angle. Reach away with the right arm. Keep reaching. You should be able to feel that stretch all the way down that right side. Nice. Come back to center. Let's get the other side, guys. So here we go. Take the right leg in, and we're gonna scooch our way over to the left side this time. Again, the right leg makes a right angle. That knee's right over the ankle. And then see if you can heel toe the left foot, pressing into the outer edge of that left foot. Same thing, guys. We're gonna come into that warrior two. Hands come to the T. Look over the right hand. Inhale, you're gonna shift your weight forward. Exhale, let's take it up and over. Send your gaze up if your neck allows. And then let's take it all the way through to the extended side angle. Keep reaching away with that left hand. And then back to center. Here we go. Second set, look over the right fingers. As we inhale, we're gonna shift the weight forward. Exhale, let's take it up and over. And then we're gonna cycle all the way through, drop that right forearm. Keep looking up. Keep that breath nice and full and buoyant here. Keep reaching. Nice work, and let's come back to center. All right, let's scooch the left leg in. As we come back to center, we're gonna come into a seated pigeon pose. So legs hip width apart once again. We're gonna drop the shoulders down the spine as we send the chest forward. Inhale, we're gonna lift the right leg and then cross that right ankle over that left knee. We're gonna come into that seated pigeon pose. If this feels comfortable for you and this is your limit for today, that's completely fine. Otherwise, take your right hand and then put a little gentle pressure on that right knee, okay? Same motion, we're gonna start to bring our chest towards the legs here. So inhale to look forward. Exhale with the heart coming first. We're gonna start to pivot forward at the waist, dropping the weight. Inch by inch, we're gonna crawl forward and just feel that right hip start to open up. Keep breathing here. Send that breath all the way down to the right side of the hip. Beautiful, and let's roll up once again. Back to center, guys. We're gonna get the other side, so go ahead and release the right leg. The left knee is gonna come up to the chest, and then we're gonna take that left ankle and cross it over the right knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Again, drop those shoulders. Lots of space between the ears and the shoulders here. If it feels okay, put a little bit of pressure with that hand on that left knee. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, we're gonna start to pivot forward at the waist, nice and gentle. Easy does it. Nice work. Let's roll up. One vertebrae at a time. Let's do that cycle one more time. This time I want to see if you can get your belly to the top of your thigh. So once again, that right leg comes up, the right ankle on top of that left knee. We're gonna try to challenge ourselves a little bit by dropping the weight a little bit further even. Okay, so inhale to look forward. Exhale, this time release your arms over the knees, let them drape down, and then drop the weight of the head as well. All right, on the next inhale, we're gonna roll up and then back to center we go. Let's drop the right ankle down. Let's get the other side. The left ankle comes up over that right knee. Inhale to drop the shoulders. Exhale to look forward and then start to pivot forward at the waist. Take the hands over the knees, release the head and the hands and the shoulders. Just let go in this moment. And sometimes in this position, I encourage you to let go of something that is no longer serving you, something that you've been carrying. Take that weight off your shoulders so that we can feel a little bit lighter in our practice and throughout the rest of our day. All right, on the next inhale, let's roll up. And then we're back to center. So go ahead and release that ankle. Now I want you to scoot forward a couple of inches on your chair here, and then take the feet straight out in front of you. Straight out in front of you. Okay. You can imagine we're gonna get some hamstring action here. So sitting up nice and tall, pressing the crown of the head towards the ceiling, letting the shoulders get nice and heavy here. The hands can come to the outside of the thighs or underneath. Exhale, we're gonna take our weight down nice and slow. Maybe bend the knees at first if it's a little tight. And then as you go, see if you can start to straighten the legs. And just be super playful with it. Where's your edge for today? Keep that breath moving through your body. On the next inhale, we're gonna roll up nice and slow, back to center. All right, let's take the seat back. We're gonna close out our practice by coming back to the breath. So just sitting comfortably here, closing down the eyes, letting the breath be our anchor, feeling it come and go, and allowing this moment to help us realize that all things come and go, just like the breath. Let's take the hands out in front of our chest. We're gonna rub our hands together to create a little bit of heat, a little bit of energy. Open the palms as a book, and we're gonna place the palms right over the eyes. Let's bow and close out our short but super sweet flow together by bowing forward. Thank you so much for this time together. Namaste.
I'm so sorry to interrupt your beautiful moment. Ladies and gentlemen, 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Jen Pham, wonderful. Oh my goodness, how do you feel? Good, refreshed? I think it's been such a nice time so far.
this is the perfect time to have a little break. Thank you so far for all our speeches. Everyone's feeling connected head to toe, I'm sure. So let's take a short break. In order to follow COVID-19 prevention rules, please make sure to wear a mask, except for when you drink water. Then please do immediately replace your mask afterwards. There's also a place to enjoy behind. Please do go to the bathroom, etc. And we will be back in around 10 minutes. So you have 10 minutes. Don't forget to join us on our SNS, as well as check out all of the fantastic sponsors that we have here on site on the outdoor terrace. You can also go to our SNS, our website, and find out about our other sponsors as well. You can experience Busan's eco-friendly tourism products. So please do give Busan Tourism and of course all our sponsors here at BIWC 2021 lots and lots of love. I'll be back in 10 minutes like I said, so stay with us and we'll see you soon for the next part of BIWC 2021. 감사합니다.
(1985년) 부산 도시철도 1호선 개통.
오빠야, 이제 지하철 생겨서 안 늦겠네.
세월이 흘러도 부산 도시철도는 변함없이 약속을 지켜드립니다. 35년간 함께한 약속 지킴이. 부산 도시철도는 신뢰입니다. 부산교통공사.
부산 도시철도. 이제 부산교통공사가 시민의 꿈과 희망을 싣고 새로운 100년을 열어가겠습니다.
오늘 하루도 내가 나로 온전하게 있을 수 있기를.
The birds fly south as the
지금 이렇게 바쁘고 마음이 분주하다고 생각했는데 내가 진짜 정말로 지금 해야 할 일은 무엇이지? 지금 내 몸이 어떻게 느끼고 있는지 한번 알아차려 봅니다.
네, 저희 만만한 녀석들은 부산의 마이스 산업이 좀 더 지속 가능한 산업이 될 수 있도록 처음 구조 설계부터 분리와 적재 그리고 설치를 고려하여 만들고 있습니다. 또한 이렇게 버려지는 자투리 나무를 활용하여 또 다른 상품들을 만들고 있어 친환경적인 기업으로 거듭나고자 합니다.
모다라 업체는 부산의 이미지뿐만 아니라 한국의 이미지를 다 모아서 주로 섬유 제품, 문화 상품을 개발하고 있는 업체입니다. 가방이나 스카프 등을 지금 현재 제작을 하고 있습니다. 그러니까 지금 현재로는 부산의 이미지를 가지고 개발을 시작을 했지만 이 다양한 컨텐츠를 개발을 하게 되면 부산의 여러 기업들, 그러니까 신발이나 도자기나 전자제품, 자동차까지 같이 공생해서 협력해서 제품을 개발할 수 있다는 점이 크리에이티브한 점이 아닐까요?
가족, 연인, 친구, 소중한 이들과 함께하는 특별한 추억 만들기. 신나는 음악에 몸을 맡기고 시원한 바닷바람에 마음을 맡겨보세요. 부산의 색다른 매력을 만끽할 수 있는 요트 투어. 아름다운 바다 위에서 즐기는 요트 체험, 요트 위크와 함께하세요. 이곳에서 꿈은 현실이 됩니다.
So welcome back. Hello to everyone here in Busan and beyond. 안녕하세요. Hello everybody. Welcome back. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Thank you so much. A round of applause for everybody here at Busan International Wellness Conference 2021. Did you enjoy the wellness village that we prepared? It's nice, right? Oh, and the weather's perfect. To everybody who is viewing online, we're sorry that you can't be here, but we'll enjoy it for you, we promise. Next time, you can come with us. So now it's time to invite our next speaker of the day. I'm very excited
This is someone that I have been watching and following for a very long time. She is an inspiration to me. It's Jung-eun Yu. Now, she is the CEO, the founder, and the developer of the mind meditation application Mabo. She is also the director of Wisdom 2.0 Korea. Today, she will present the role of mindfulness meditation in K-wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause. It's Jung-eun Yu. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Hello, everyone. Laura, thank you for having me here. This is really beautiful, a venue. I have never been such a beautiful, a conference room before. I'm so sorry that, the participants who watching this over on YouTube couldn't enjoy the spectacular view of this room. Yeah. Sometime I hope that, the camera man would turn the camera into the ocean outside. Thank you for your introduction. So for those audience who haven't heard about Mabo before, Mabo is the first mindfulness meditation app in Korea. And I developed it 5 years ago. So it started 5 years ago. Yeah. And back then, actually, I really didn't know about the concept of K-wellness. And recently, until recent, when Laura actually asked me about what do you think K-wellness is, I really haven't thought about K-wellness. Yeah, that's actually quite interesting because as a Korean, for me, K-wellness is something that I always think it kind of like air. You actually breathe in, breathe out the air, but you don't know whether it exists, right? So when she asked me about the definition of K-wellness, I was kind of thinking, that's an interesting question. What is K-wellness? Yeah. And I had to ask back to Laura, what do you think K-wellness is? Because for sometimes insiders cannot really define the kind of differentiation of what kind of things we are having as a kind of unique factor. So her answer was quite interesting. She said, it can be the nature, it can be this kind of activity, but most of all, something very unique was 찜질방. Yeah, as Professor Kim Nam-jin actually mentioned, 찜질방 could be the most distinguished factor when we consider K-wellness. Why? Because as we know, 찜질방, we cannot find 찜질방 in any other culture, right? You can find kind of temple stay, or you can find a spa in other countries, but 찜질방 is a really unique factor. And actually, after I heard Laura's explanation, I thought, how 찜질방 became kind of K-wellness. As we all know also, 찜질방 haven't existed before this kind of modern era, right? 찜질방 is a kind of newborn thing around 90s, 80s. I don't know the origin. But how and why people actually started to enjoy 찜질방? So 찜질방 has also very interesting 3 factors. The first of all, as Professor actually mentioned in the previous session, is a kind of community feeling, right? When you go to 찜질방, except kind of very unique situation, you go there with your family or your friends, right? So you can see this kind of, before COVID-19, this kind of scenery was quite common in 찜질방. You're kind of sitting around and chatting. And second of all, 찜질방 also had some somatic experience. So you can see sometimes it looks like torture, actually. Yeah, you actually sit around in a very hot stones or something really unusual, and then you love to sweat there. Yeah. And then the third one is this food. Yeah, you go to 찜질방, you never miss good food there, right? Like 미역국, 계란, 식혜. Those are three really interesting factors 찜질방 has. And I thought, what others can actually make 찜질방 really special? So in 찜질방, you may feel like because the atmosphere is kind of homey and you are sitting with your friends and family, sometimes you can talk. You have never talked in a kind of other settings, but in 찜질방, you can talk more deep things from your mind with others. And you also sometimes become friends with strangers in 찜질방. It's possible. So I was thinking, wow, 찜질방 could be the really unique factor as in K-wellness, but is it enough? The reason why I came to this question is because, as we all know, I mean, Korean people live in this kind of dark period ever since this COVID-19 situation happened. I actually think maybe COVID-19 actually didn't really activate this kind of situation. It may reveal the situation outside. What it means is like Korean people actually had this kind of mental illness problem for many years. And this COVID-19 situation made it on the surface. Yeah. So this kind of gloomy survey result is not new to us. Now we all know that, yeah, we have some problems mentally. Yeah. And because of this, I think something really needed. Yeah, we need something. And that's why I made this app, Mabu. So Mabu is based on mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness meditation is not new kind of, how can I say, new wave. It has been there, but when it comes to the public, this became a kind of huge movement since the late 90s. And now it's really worldwide phenomena. So many countries actually kind of adopt mindfulness meditation as a national healthcare intervention. And many actually public schools introduce mindfulness meditation program for children. But still in Korea, it was not a mainstream. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a mainstream. But when I made my mindfulness app, Mabu, I actually noticed that there was a huge need among small number of Koreans. First of all, back then, 2016, there were many English apps, but there were no Korean mindfulness meditation app. So as you can see here, many Korean people are not quite used to English, speaking in English actually. So we made Korean mindfulness meditation app. And second, still back then, meditation was considered as some kind of pseudo-religion and something for old people. And we all kind of imagined that, to meditate, like we need to go to a kind of special place. Yeah. So what Mabu tried to do is like mindfulness meditation is accessible to everyone in everyday use. And so far, it has been 5+ years. So far, we have 200. Sorry, I'm really terrible with like speaking numbers in English. 21만 users. And what I'm so proud of about Mabu is like we actually have changed someone's life. So our users constantly report us that like improved sleep quality, reduced depression and anxiety, enhanced regulation of negative emotions. So very interestingly, meditation actually seems quite far and quite like opposite with kind of digital device. But very interestingly, using this digital device, we have created this kind of safe environment where people can meditate together and practice their emotional well-being. But is it really enough? This question actually came to me 3 years ago. Yeah. I mean, this mindfulness meditation app is not new. As I told, there are so many mindfulness meditation apps worldwide. But in this process, like making this mindfulness meditation app and operating it, I found out something missing there. What is missing? This is it. This is a kind of community feeling. The feeling of we are making this world better together. Yeah. This is the picture I took from Wisdom 2.0 Korea last year. Yeah. This is a kind of conference and where the volunteers actually can join and where what like volunteers actually make it together. And Wisdom 2.0 has been initiated by this one like inspirer. His name is Soren Goldhammer. He started Wisdom 2.0 in San Francisco 12 years ago. And when he actually made this conference, the theme of this conference was how to live wisely in the digital age. Yeah, as I told you, it actually started from San Francisco, where the kind of the heart of modern technology, right? Silicon Valley is so close from San Francisco. And Wisdom 2.0 has successfully continued, and now it became the icon of kind of this mindfulness meditation conference and wisdom conference. And actually beyond the conference, it make a kind of new paradigm impacting society and making so much like a network. And the reason why I want to bring Wisdom 2.0 to Korea is, as we all know, Korea is really well known as a most advanced country in technology, right, worldwide. But still, in our dialogue, something missing. That missing point is like Korean people, we are so proud of making really advanced technology, but we don't really talk about how we can use it. What is the best way of using technology to improve our everyday life? So you can see here, very interestingly, as technology develops, our wellness, our happiness actually drops, right? So this is the time that we need to talk about real happiness, real wellness. What is it? Yeah. So our mission is to support people living with awareness and wisdom in our technology-rich age. And this is a kind of continuation. It started from San Francisco, and now we are having it in Korea, Japan, and Singapore. And the thing, I think the kind of thing in wellness tourism and wellness activity, the important thing in wellness tourism and wellness activity is like from now on, there is no such a thing, like only we have, right? It's so globalized. So maybe the connection between this globe could be the most important factor in this era. And I think like a BTS, as we all know, they actually became the most popular kind of Korean in the world. And they could be the icon of wellness tourism in Korea because they are really talking about how to live well, right? Happiness and love yourself. Those kind of messages is really important. So this year, Wisdom 2.0 Korea is also going on. And the theme of this year is Live Well. And you can see that apprentice, that means like we will actually make it empty. And you, as a participant, you decide the way of how to live well. And we want to invite all of the participants here and all of the people who are watching this to Wisdom 2.0 conversation. So this is a really ongoing conversation. We want to make this event as a kind of festival of people who really think what's the most important thing in our lives. Mm-hmm. And I think that wellness, that conversation about wellness needs to include this kind of topic, how to live well and how to live well together. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please give a huge round of applause. Jeong-eun Yu. Thank you so, so much. Oh, it's fantastic, you know, highlighting the importance of mental health and being mindful and being in that together, especially in our modern age. Really, really important message. And that's why we're here with you, making sure that we are connecting the world online and here right in Busan. Okay, it's time for something incredibly special. Meditation through the healing power of traditional Korean music. So we're going to enjoy a gayagum performance together. Now, gayagum is a traditional Korean instrument for those of us who have never heard of it before. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite Eun Bang, who is a member of the Busan Gayagum Orchestra. She's going to be here for our second mini wellness class. So gayagum, like I said, it's a traditional Korean instrument. Traditional instruments have been played for meditation and for training purposes for centuries here in Korea. Jeongak, which literally translates into right or proper music, is retrained music that was played by court musicians for nobles in the Joseon dynasty. Jeongak might be new to many people. Many of our viewers from overseas maybe have never heard this type of music before, so you're going to enjoy yourselves. Eun will play a modern interpretation of this traditional Korean music. This piece she prepared is called The Scenery of Gayagum. So because it is a meditation, I'm going to guide you into a nice comfortable seated position. 지금부터 자세 좀 제대로 하겠습니다. So I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And we're going to lengthen the spine. Just kind of gently push the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Feel your feet on the floor. Release the shoulders. Open your eyes. And please give a warm welcome to Eun Bang. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Ladies and gentlemen, 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. One more time, a huge round of applause. 은지 방. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful performance, and definitely it's something that we can be very proud of here in Korea. Now we've shared it all across the world. Unji, thank you so much. That was beautiful. And I feel like some people are getting a bit misty-eyed over there as well. Really gorgeous. Well done. Well done. The atmosphere of BIWC 2021 has really been boosted. We're in a beautiful space. The APAC house is gorgeous. It's such a good energy just now, and the combination of traditional Korean dress, kayagum, the instruments, the surroundings, and of course, all of our viewers from all across the world, 안녕하세요, and all of you right here as well. Thank you so much for being here with us. Now, I'm very excited to introduce our next speaker. This is something that might make you a little bit peckish. The CEO of Busan Cooking Class. Now, this is to present the third K-Wellness seminar for today. As we know, Korean food is becoming more and more popular all across the world. 김치 드실래요? So, what we want to do is make that even more accessible to you here at BIWC 2021. Because we're going to learn about traditional Korean food from a real K-food, K-cuisine expert. And not only that, we'll hear more about the connection between wellness and food. Her topic today is Korean food, wellness for life. Please welcome the CEO of Busan Cooking Class, Hyung Jang. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Yeah, thank you for the lovely introduction, Laura. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Hyung Jang, and I am a CEO of Busan Cooking Class. Before I start my presentation, I would like all of us to think about this question. What is food? What a question, huh? Maybe because I talk about food for a living, but I actually don't think so. I mean, food is something we all have every single day, and it is such a fundamental element of our existence and well-being, so we should be able to define what it is to ourselves. And it was a big question, but as soon as I see this picture, I just knew that this is food to me. On the left side of the picture is me and my mom processing spring plants called namu in Korean. On every spring, we have a little battle in our kitchen table processing all this produce. And this produce don't wait us for long, so we have to process it within a short time. And I don't call the word for nothing. You know, spring messenger sounds all lovely, but it's very labor-demanding process. But we do it anyway. And then the picture on the right side is kind of like classic Korean countryside style table, and this is my kind of food. But that's not always my food, and I want you to take a little journey of mine, which led me to where I am now. And that is me in Ireland, Europe, like a decade ago, I think. And I had so much fun after I got into university with the busy, hectic soul life. And I had to, I need a gap year, like in 2 years. So I wanted to put myself in a completely different environment. So I randomly decided to go to Ireland in Europe and joining for the international organization, pursuing self-sufficient lifestyle. So there that was first time me like experiencing the whole organic farming from, you know, processing haystack and, you know, making compost, and I even milked the cow. And getting to know about where the food's from really makes me appreciate the nature, and that was such a fresh look for a life. And then I went to the other side of globe, America, for my exchange scholarship. And there I witnessed the most developed food processed system. And, you know, it was nothing like what I saw back in Korea. And all the like foods are like individually packed and stacked in like looking shiny glass door. It was quite shocking to me. And also that was my very first time to seeing frozen vegetable. And that got me thinking, why would I freeze the vegetable, even if they are able to produce the fresh crops? And I think I experienced two different system and lifestyle about food in two different countries. And it definitely influenced on me shaping food. I thought some food. Then I, start working for the marketing firm. And, working for the marketing firm means that signing up for a very heavy workload and career-centered lifestyle. And I did it. And as I got busier, I felt like something's missing. So that's when I started making namu again. It's quite a random choice, but I also figure that it's a natural choice for me to survive, on sake of my survive and health. And I crave more and more for the foods that makes me alive. So I quit the job and decided to go to culinary school, studying Korean traditional cuisine, which was my root of appetite. So I, learned everything from the scratch, from Tang Korean, traditional condiment to royal court cuisine, and I have shared what I have been experienced and learned since with the word, and now I'm going to talk about it today too. So what is Korean food? So I came up with the 4 correlated keywords that explains peninsula, plant-based, 4 seasons, and fermentation. As we know, Korea is peninsula, so it's surrounded by the ocean. And so we have abundant ingredients for cooking, from grain, vegetables, seafood, meats, etc. But in fact, over 70% of country is made up of mountain. So, and also, before industrial era, the first industry was agriculture. So, like livestock, for instance, cows were important asset for farming. So, traditionally, like consuming meat wasn't the main food culture. So for Koreans, it was quite natural for us to have like plant-based diet. And we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. I think if you ask any Koreans about like what is 1 or 2 seasonal food, it wouldn't be difficult to get an answer from them. I think it's quite interesting that Koreans have this strong perception that if you have like seasonal food, we are taking good care of ourselves. And I think this nature's mindset, having awareness of a relationship between nature, the season, and food is, what we have what we have, and is very good value, I think. And then fermentation also. When it comes to Korean food, fermentation is very important element. When the refrigeration industry was not developed, that was like main natural food processing method we use in Korea. Fermented food is not a new concept. Actually, we have this every day, like cheese, yogurt, wine, etc. But the noticeable thing we have in Korea is that we have like plant-centered fermentation food culture. And we can see this proof on our dining table every day. First is that jang. Jang is Korean traditional condiment that includes 된장, 간장, 고추장, soybean paste, soy sauce, and red pepper paste. And basically it's made of salt and soybean. So it tastes salty, but also sweet, savory, earthy, and it's got complex flavor. And that umami taste depends on the process of fermentation when the bacteria kick in from the nature. So I will call it, magic touch of nature. And this, beautiful vegetable ferment kimchi, probably the most famous and popular Korean food. The kimchi is made with the vegetable and the seasoning, including red pepper flakes and salt, ginger, garlic, etc. The process of the kimchi, well, actually, the type of kimchi we see now is just one kind. We have like tons of different kind of kimchi as well, and it's full of probiotic, lactic acid, and which is good for gut health and then immunity. As you can see, these are like various types of kimchi made with the seasonal vegetable. So dish of kimchi really shows up the ear of the nature. And then we have even this kimchi refrigerator. Believe it or not, each household has this. And this is like special refrigerator specifically designed for storage requirement of kimchi and also facilitate different fermentation. Kimchi is not just food for Koreans, I think. On November, there's always like news about when to make a kimchi and how much it will cost. And then that means it's time for kimjang. So what is kimjang? Kimjang is an act of making kimchi and sharing together. And it's also designated as a intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO. So like what we do is like the Korean community make the big quantity of kimchi and share it with others, and to make sure that each household have enough to get through the harsh winter. So I think Korean food means also a well-being of community. And the other interesting Korean culture I'd like to share is that Korean temple food. So there was a series named Chef's Table on Netflix. There is one Korean nun was on it, and then that draws world attention on Korean temple food. Korean temple food is the food people eat at a Buddhist monastery in Korea. It's a traditional Korean vegan food. Actually, the nun who was on the series was my professor at the culinary school. So I had privilege to live in her monastery for 6 months, learning from her. It was such a privilege. So during my stay, I processed all the food for cooking. Basically, Korean temple cuisine is made of plant-based ingredient and the Korean traditional condiment jang. It sounds simple, but it actually, the truth is that it's a journey of finding out the real taste of ingredient. It's very, very diverse and complex. And there are two important concepts when it comes to Korean temple food. One is 오신채, and the other is 바루공양. I will explain one by one. 오신채. So in Korean temple, nun and monks do not use five pungent vegetable, which is onions, green onion, garlic, leek, chive, because they hinder the spiritual practice. And this, how can I say, this prohibition is to prevent the concentration during the meditation, but also attachment to the flavor that is strong. Yeah, so there's a whole philosophy behind. And the other one is 바루공양. 바루 means the bowl, you can see, the wooden bowl, and 공양 means meal. So it's a formal monastic meal ceremony in Korean temple. So you're supposed to put the food you would like to have, and then you're supposed to finish everything. You're even supposed to rinse the bowl with the water and drink at the end. So it's a full process of really taking responsibility about what you get from the nature. And it's a very important monastic philosophy. And I had an opportunity to travel with her in and outside of Korea, introducing Korean temple cuisine. It was rewarding because it was such an exquisite hidden part of Korean food culture, but also to share about fresh and new thoughts and perspective on food. Beyond that, that was the point, I think. And I think the key word that really penetrates the Korean temple food is the philosophy, eating with awareness. Eating food is not just savoring the taste. It's beyond that. It is about the process of understanding what you have and having a gratitude on nature in your body. And just like me, took some time to get this mindful eating and then, mindset about your food. But I think it's very important step and crucial journey for everyone, and even for the humankind. We need this kind of spirit more than ever, considering this, like unique and absurd situation, like environmental change or, the COVID crisis. So I really do hope that me sharing this my little story and then, the philosophy contained in Korean cuisine inspires you build up a healthy relationship with your food, and also to go on a journey to explore your own well-being. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up one more time. The CEO of Busan Cooking Class, Hyung Chang. 감사합니다. Oh, I'm so hungry. 진짜 배고파요, 이제. 김치 먹고 싶어요, 갑자기. I really want to eat kimchi. It was so insightful and such a great look into K-food, and of course how that is tied to wellness, and hopefully that can share or spread across the world as well. And one thing that I keep noticing out of every single presentation is this concept of community, this concept of togetherness, and this concept of connection. And it's been just a wonderful way to get together here today, and I'm so glad that you're all joining us. Now, I want to take you back to the past. Not too far, just to yesterday, for BIWC 2021 Day 1, which was all online. And we've already met our next speaker who was part of Day 1. Let's BIWC Day! Did you join us? I know you did. So our next speaker, Laszlo Puczko, founder of Health Tourism Worldwide, will be speaking today about global wellness travel trends and the potential of K-wellness. He absolutely loves Korea. He's very excited to be speaking, and we're very excited to have his presentation today. Let's meet him.
Hi, this is Laszlo Puczko from Health Tourism Worldwide. Thank you for the invitation. It really is a privilege to be invited to be one of the speakers of this event. Especially, we have such an amazing faculty of speakers. And we understand that this is unusual times for events, since we have to do hybrid events. But if you think about it, that's the modern way of doing it. You can have a lot of people participating online and offline, including speakers and participants. And it really is useful to share key messages and start to have a discussion. I was invited to have a short presentation about what's happening globally in terms of wellness travel, and how such developments may have a great opportunity for South Korea, and how we call K-wellness. Since you know that very well, we have K-beauty, we have K-pop, we can have K-wellness and K-lot of things. And also we might even call it K-medicine, but Professor Jin, who is also in this faculty, I'm sure he can tell you a lot about that. I would like to have a couple of key issues, and also some maybe eyebrows lifting pointers. I would like to share a little bit of my presentation, and I hope you will find it meaningful. I think it's easy to say that many people are really grumpy by now, and we have this new terminology, we call it stravitude. We have an attitude because of not being able to travel. We now even have expressions such as revenge spending and revenge travel, which means that as soon as we can, or as soon as people can, instantly start to travel, probably for whatever that is. But I would like to call your attention to a shift which may or may not be temporary, since pre-COVID-19, travel, is a simplification of course, was really dependent on how satisfied you were, and you expected a little bit of surprise, and you didn't really think that's a sacrifice, to actually organize a trip or being on a trip. Post or even during COVID-19, that really is changing. And how it seems that the satisfaction expectations decreased, and surprise is really diminishing, or at least decreasing. And what is anticipated that traveling as such requires quite an amount of sacrifice. In this situation, how we can make travelers feeling safe and being safe at the same time initiating travel, because we shouldn't forget that travel and the industry really is providing livelihood to millions of people. So not being able to travel not just has an impact on those who are lack of traveling, but also who cannot even make any kind of money or even any kind of livelihood. It's interesting that already a good 6-7 months ago, South Korea has been listed by the World Travel Market as an example of how South Korea is offering untaxed travel in the area of COVID-19. So I would really believe that South Korea has been showing great developments in this field, especially that the prevention and of the epidemic and also protection of the population has really been applauded globally, how the government has, and also the community have been dealing with that. And funnily, or not that funnily, what has been a big thing, such as reviews, business contacts, accessibility, and also previous segmentation, it seems that we need to forget them. What was 2 years ago probably has absolutely nothing to do with what we do this year or even next year. And especially that's relevant to past reviews since what a tourist might have said 2 years ago about a facility that may have very little to do what they would say about the same facility this year, since people changed, offerings changed, expectations changed. So everything's changed in terms of travel expectations and travel organization. And I just wanted to give you this little example that this is what people watched. If you look at it, it's around 8 million visits, looking at a beaver eating cabbage and anticipating the positive impact of that little video, that it decreased your stress level. So we do a lot of things that would have an impact on our well-being, on our lives, even remotely and even online. What kind of impact does it have on wellness and wellness travel? I would like to call your attention to this study that we, together with the Wellness Tourism Association and the president and the chairperson is on this faculty, and Diamond, I'm sure she is more than happy to share more insights of that, and also you can have access to this study on our online platforms, since we asked international experts of the topic, and also researchers and even academic personnel, looking at how wellness and travel may develop in all around the world, but I just have the examples for Far East, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East, since that's also part of the greater market. And you can see that at the moment, it's in Far East, it's considered to be more of an international affair and less domestic, but obviously, and Professor Kim Nam-jin was kind enough to provide insights to this about South Korea, and I don't want to take his insights over here, but you can have access to this on that report. That's a different story in South Korea, since traveling and also taking wellness contributing services, it's nothing new to South Koreans, but we will see that a little bit later. How the Far East looks like in terms of it is a growth forecasts, I think it's very important to note that people are looking for healthy options. They're not wellness travelers. They don't necessarily think about wellness as such, but they're looking for healthy options. And this is when you need to separate those who travel for wellness or any kind of well-being contributing motivation, and those who are traveling per se, and during their travel may consume or may look for some healthy services or healthy options. In terms of properties, I think it really is a big thing for South Korea, anything to do with hot springs, and also holistic retreats because of the spirituality. But we also can see that workplace wellness trips as well as real estate is really picking up. How this is helping key wellness? And I would like to highlight another shift, which is this is a general structure of how we travel for medical services, wellness services. And you can see that healthy services as such from self-gifting and healthy options, we were happy to have it. In terms of medical services, we needed to have it, most of us, those who travel for medical services, for obviously preventative reasons or for curing reasons. And for wellness, I wanted to have it. I didn't need to have it, not necessarily, but I wanted to have it. What is changing is that apart from the wellness trips, where wellness what is the core, now the healthy services from happy to shifted to want to. So the market is really showing a growing interest in the field, but how it is manifested in terms of service developments and also in communication may differ country by country, and we have to be very, very careful about it, since the maturity of the market is very different depending where we are. This is our state-of-the-art destination well-being landscape, which is really, really relevant to South Korea and the development of K-wellness. I think the three major components, such as assets and resources, the agents and the beneficiaries and users, would really define or can really define all the actors in the business, and also defines who you need to deal with. And of course, we look at natural resources and natural assets, and not just hot springs, but the sea and various other components you can, and I'm going to give you a very specific example from South Korea. The cultural resources and assets, traditions, temple stays, spirituality, all comes in. Of course, we need to bring in, especially in South Korea, we need to bring in technology, and how that comes in and helps and facilitates, but does not take over. Technology is an agent in that sense, and not something that as an end result. Of course, we have treatments and services, either medical or wellness. And we need to have the facilities, infrastructure, resorts, ginger banks, hospital facilities, coastal facilities, clinics, you name it. Community lifestyle, which is an agent as well as a beneficiary. And traditionally, such a TKM, we can mention a lot of things, since wellness orientation is nothing new. How it is manifested probably is changing, but it's deeply rooted in South Korea. So it's a great resource. Of course, public health, in terms of preventative measures, in terms of lifestyle choices and legislation. The local economy, since domestic travel and leisure, shouldn't we forget that wellness and leisure is not just travel, it's more of a leisure activity, especially domestically, anything to do with leisure and sports and recreation, and hospitality, and in the end, travel. So travel on this landscape is just a small part, and all the rest would define as solid foundations to this. Shouldn't forget that education, both in terms of end users, but also in terms of staff, how the whole thinking about wellness definition and well-being experience development would need to be deeply defined in educational programs, either vocational or higher education, and that probably is something that South Korea can really develop. Media certainly is something that defines most of our environment, but in that case, South Korea is really recovering most of the TKM, hot springs, and all the major resources, and also governance, and having state bodies, state and industry partnerships, South Korea really has the necessary governance support and interest, which is really one of a kind. Knowing most countries in the world in this field, I probably cannot really mention other countries, maybe one or two, that would have such a solid background. So it really is defined and really is available for South Korea. When you look at reviews, and this is when the fun starts, since it's not just country, you would need to look at it destination level, such as Busan, such as Seoul, such as, and we can name a lot of destinations that can look at it, and we looked at a couple already. And these are the major components that can bring in something which is traditional, something which has evidence, and this is very critical here, that it has been used for some time, has been proven to provide necessary benefits. And this is what guests want, benefits, and not just satisfaction, but the benefits, and the good benefits that contributes to their well-being, which actually they may not even call wellness or not even call well-being, but we know who orchestrate the experience, that all those components do that. This is from South Korea, this is from Daejeon, and I was lucky to be there, for example, and all this food bath, it's not just hot springs, but it's a leisure and social phenomenon that visitors as well as locals as a lifestyle activity can go there and do go there even on a daily basis and use the preventative as well as healing benefits of those waters. But I also would like to have another example which is nearby to Daejeon, and this is something that really, you can have introduction to it, you can have the storyline, and I know you do, but foreign visitors may not know of it too much, and the benefits of that reed clay and walking in that, and the acupressure impact of it. And this is the asset you cannot transport. This is something that no other city can have, no other destination can have. And this is what K-wellness should be about. And to be honest, any wellness should be about. That looking at what's available locally, what kind of benefits it does, and what's the evidence of it. Still, I really would like to contradict myself and raise some eyebrows. Inside there is a great source of interesting pieces of information and articles, and I really like this one, since, as it says, the COVID pandemic is calling out the hospital industry on its biggest bluff, which is wellness. And we all have responsibility here. When everything is called wellness, from bread makers to ham and to clothes, obviously relabeling existing services as wellness is a bluff. And it has been happening. And there is a lot of people who are responsible for all this. And because it's a funny thing, it sells, it's fashion, it's a buzzword, and sadly, it's losing its actual meaning. And that's a bad thing for those who really are providing the wellness improving benefits. So look around and be critical. And sometimes you need to lose the word wellness. But still, what you're providing is something that the guests appreciate and it contributes to their well-being. All right, what are the major take-home messages? I collected these 4 main groups, and I would like to call your attention to these, and it would be great to continue the negotiations and discussions on this. So what is contributing to wellness, K-wellness, and what is K-wellness? So anything from heritage and traditions to innovation and technology, these are resources. These are not the end product. This is not end product. This is what we would need to collect and what we would need to map and what we need to list and understand. Why? Because we need to know what's preventative, what's for healing, not healthcare, but healing, what is good for rehabilitation, either psychological or physical, or what is recreation related or serious leisure. Serious leisure is the term that refers to something that people do with the necessary wisdom behind it, and they were dedicated, they understand the meaning and understand what they can get out of it. The serious leisure is something that, especially in South Korea, we need to look at in more detail. Who is this provided for? Of course, local communities. We should not forget that traditions are really live in local communities and then can improve the livelihoods and also the everyday feeling and emotions of local communities, but also international visitors as well as the medical tourists who are really important in South Korea. And also K-wellness, it could be an e-solution that can be transported, made available to those who are remotely available and share the wisdom, obviously not the natural resources, but traditions and also innovation and technology can bring in items. And also when daily, regular lifestyle habits and also one-off experience. For visitors, it could often be a one-off experience to try K-wellness as long as it's defined and introduced appropriately. But also we need to not forget that we really are working on something that local communities can do daily, also can really do as a regular lifestyle habit. You might say that it's something new, but I give you a couple of examples, which I'm sure you all know. And this is in Seoul, and the place for true wellness. And if you look at, for example, this proposition, that can really show that wellness as such is nothing new. How it is orchestrated, how it is developed, how it is presented and marketed, that certainly is new and changing. But in South Korea, the rich heritage and traditions combined with the innovation and technology and the resources really is something that I don't think K-wellness is a future. K-wellness is more like a present proposition. So thank you very much for your kind invitation. I hope these 3 days are going really well, and you could participate in events as well, online and offline. And I hope to see K-wellness to come along in a more defined way, and especially in a more competitive way all around the world, not just in Far East, but all around the world, and would be more.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Laszlo Puksko from Health Tourism Worldwide. Really fantastic presentation, especially following his participation in Day 1 as well. Looking forward to the future of K-Wellness on the global stage. And like Laszlo said, K-Wellness isn't just the future, it's the present as well. And hopefully it will continue to develop. Laszlo, we will see you in Busan at BIWC 2022. So I know some of us are feeling a bit tired from sitting or standing. I'll invite you to give your neck a nice stretch. Take a nice deep breath. Stretch out your arms, get into those muscles. And it's now time for a little bit of networking, okay? So I'll invite you to connect with each other right here. As we've learned, it's all about community connection and sharing. We're going to connect with each other in a socially distanced way here on site. You can visit the Wellness Village outside there and follow all our sponsors on our SNS and our website. Don't forget, we really must follow social distancing regulations because of COVID-19. So please do have all your conversations with masks on. If you're drinking, just bring the mask down, put it back on immediately after, and sanitize your hands using sanitizer, social distancing between people, and I hope everyone has a good time. I will see you all in 10 minutes. 네, 감사합니다.
1985년 부산 도시철도 1호선 개통.
오빠야, 이제 지하철 생겨서 안 늦겠네.
세월이 흘러도 부산 도시철도는 변함없이 약속을 지켜드립니다. 35년간 함께한 약속 지킴이. 부산 도시철도는 신뢰입니다. 부산교통공사.
부산 도시철도. 이제 부산교통공사가 시민의 꿈과 희망을 싣고 새로운 100년을 열어가겠습니다.
오늘 하루도 내가 나로 온전하게 있을 수 있기를.
The birds fly south as the
지금 이렇게 바쁘고 마음이 분주하다고 생각했는데 내가 진짜 정말로 지금 해야 할 일은 무엇이지? 지금 내 몸이 어떻게 느끼고 있는지 한번 알아차려 봅니다.
네, 저희 만만한 녀석들은 부산의 마이스 산업이 좀 더 지속 가능한 산업이 될 수 있도록 처음 구조 설계부터 분리와 적재 그리고 설치를 고려하여 만들고 있습니다. 또한 이렇게 버려지는 자투리 나무를 활용하여 또 다른 상품들을 만들고 있어 친환경적인 기업으로 거듭나고자 합니다.
모다라 업체는 부산의 이미지뿐만 아니라 한국의 이미지를 다 모아서 주로 섬유 제품, 문화상품을 개발하고 있는 업체입니다. 가방이나 스카프 등을 지금 현재 제작을 하고 있습니다. 그러니까 지금 현재로는 부산의 이미지를 가지고 개발을 시작을 했지만 이 다양한 컨텐츠를 개발을 하게 되면 부산의 여러 기업들, 그러니까 신발이나 도자기나 전자제품, 자동차까지 같이 공생해서 협력해서 제품을 개발할 수 있다는 점이 크리에이티브한 점이 아닐까요?
가족, 연인, 친구, 소중한 이들과 함께하는 특별한 추억 만들기. 신나는 음악에 몸을 맡기고 시원한 바닷바람에 마음을 맡겨보세요. 부산의 색다른 매력을 만끽할 수 있는 요트 투어. 아름다운 바다 위에서 즐기는 요트 체험, 요트 위크와 함께하세요. 이곳에서 꿈은 현실이 됩니다.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining BIWC 2021 Networking Time. The mood here at the APEC House in Busan is absolutely wonderful. So relaxed, which is exactly how it should be, given this is all about wellness. It's an honor for us at BIWC 2021 to be able to contribute to a stronger network in the wellness community worldwide and, of course, here in Korea. For the growth of the Korean wellness industry, it's in the future. So let's work together to create more opportunities like this. And speaking of which, you might have noticed I have some guests with me on the stage, which means we're going to start our special talk concert. Now, the theme of the talk concert is Envision K-Wellness, Past, Present, and Future of K-Wellness. It's time to talk about the past and the present and the future of what K-Wellness really means. So first, I would like to introduce our panelists. We have a few familiar faces from the conference today. We have next to me Professor Kim Nam-jin. We have Jung Eun-yu, CEO. Next to Jung Eun-yu, we have Danny Kessler, Professor Danny Kessler, and then right at the end, but definitely last but not least, is Hyung Jang, the CEO of Busan Cooking Class. Now, everyone we've already introduced to you today, except Danny Kessler. Danny Kessler is an assistant professor at Dongseok University and is a wellness tourism PhD. So he's joined us for the talk concert. Please give a warm welcome to Professor Kessler. That's nice. It's very official. And to all of our panelists here, 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. So I'm going to ask our panelists some questions. We have 3 questions altogether. Of course, past, present, and future. Makes sense, right? 3 questions. And I'm going to ask you to keep your answers to around 1 to 2 minutes, okay? I will just continue down the line, so 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. And if you would like to say anything in between, please feel free to add what you would like to say. So shall we get started? It's going to be very interesting. Now, of course, the first is moving into the past of K-Wellness. We've heard a lot from our presentations today, and of course, we know that wellness has been part of the Korean way of life for centuries. I mean, traditional Korean saunas, for example, date all the way back to the 1400s. Korea has beautiful natural resources. We have the ocean, which we're very lucky to be next to today. We've got the mountains, hot springs, forests, traditional medicine. We've got health food. So the question is, what aspects of the past of K-Wellness, the original K-Wellness, can we learn from today in our busy, modern 21st century lives? Professor Jin, I'm going to ask you first.
Koreans have traditionally enjoyed music and dance. I think music and dance would be another form of wellness service. Traditionally Koreans have been healed by singing songs. Also, we have natural resources like forest and hot springs. People were healed simply by immersing themselves into forest. However, we failed to develop facilities and services like in the West. As you know, South Korea, we made a remarkable success in developing our economy. However, in this process, most of the Koreans were overloaded with the overwork. So actually, we could not afford to enjoy our life. So it means that we failed to develop commercial services of wellness. But these days, the younger generation, like MG generations and the retiring baby boomers, they started looking for wellness services. But we don't have variety of choices. So this is the time for us to think more about developing diverse wellness services. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Wonderful answer. I will pose the same question to 대표님, 정은유. What do you think we can learn from the past?
Actually, I recently read this article saying that this 정자, the kind of small like a wooden hut, where we can notice everywhere in Seoul and like everywhere in Korea. It's a quite unique culture, 정자. Yeah. The reason why is because 정자 is kind of in the middle of the nature, usually, and that place is really open to public. Anyone just like come by can take a rest there. And 정자 also becomes a place where communal members can join and kind of share their life stories, right? So 정자, I think that culture where what we actually have in our blood. And I think that the importance of the nature also kind of is in our blood. Like nature, Korean nature is really beautiful, and we can see the mountain anywhere. And this Busan citizens especially have this priorities to look at this beautiful ocean everywhere, right? So I think that culture is in our blood. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I agree, and I think a lot of what I see is Koreans don't realize that everything that is kind of ingrained in Korean culture is actually what the world sees as wellness, and I think that's fantastic. I love that. I'm going to move on down the line to Professor Kessler. Professor, you're not Korean, as we may see, but you do have a lot of extensive research going on actually with the WTA as well. What do you think we can learn from the past of K-Wellness?
Thank you, Laura. So I'll start with this story about when I first came to Korea. When I first came here, I developed this nasty throat infection and cough, and it just would not get better. And I don't like to take medicine. I don't like to take antibiotics. And I didn't know what to do. And then this older Korean man, he said, "Food is the best medicine." He said, "Eat garlic." And I said, "What? Say that again?" He said, "Food is the best medicine. Eat garlic." And I did. And then I got better. And then ever since then, every time I feel like I have a little bit of like a cough or some kind of light sickness growing, I eat garlic. I put it in the gukbap, I put it in the gamjatang, everything, and I never get sick. And then I started reading about the Korean medicine and Korean traditional food, and I realized that there's a lot of things like that in Korea. And I think, as Laura mentioned, that Korea has a lot of wellness aspects ingrained in the culture. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And the same question to 대표님 at the end. What do you think we can learn? Did Professor Kessler steal your answer? Talking about food there. What do you think?
Thank you for bringing up about Korean food. I'm going to add to the professor's comment. I would like to introduce one great custom we have. It's called having 시절식. 시절식 means the combination of 시식 and 절식. 시식 means the food made with the ingredient produced in 4 seasons, and 절식 means the food served on the holiday on each month of the year. So really, like how can I say, sensing that nature's clock and then eating accordingly is quite natural for Koreans, and I think it's such an exceptional eco-friendly lifestyle we could adapt to modern life. Actually, we do keep it still, and I want you to introduce to the people who live outside of Korea actually. So now is like as July and August is the hottest period in summer, and then we have 삼복 절식, which means 초복, 중복, 말복. So we are supposed to have the food that boost up your energy because you sweat a lot during the summer. And then we already had Chobok and Jungbok, and we still have a chance to have a good food in Malbok, which I believe is 10th of August. So we traditionally have the chicken soup with ginseng. It's called samgyetang. So if you have a chance, you definitely want to try. It's very delicious and healthy.
Thank you so much for your answers. It's so interesting that you say about nature's rhythm. Actually, today, the 24th of July, 24/7, is the first Global Circadian Rhythm Day. So you're talking about nature's rhythm, but today is the first Global Circadian Rhythm Day as well. So it's a bit of a pleasure to be here talking about that, and very exciting. So let's move to our next question. Let's move to the present. The global pandemic, of course, has brought attention to the need for proactive health and wellness maintenance, as well as putting us under even more stress. Various different things, financial worries, health worries, loss of freedom of movement. We can't travel, some of us, half the world has actually been under some form of lockdown at some stage during the past couple of years. And there's a number of other things that have negatively impacted our lives. So, in your field, in your experience, what trends have you seen emerging during this pandemic era in terms of wellness here in South Korea? Professor?
Yes. For the past decades, we have seen the sharp increase of a single-person household. Even during this period of COVID-19 pandemic, people were enforced to live alone, live in isolated situations. So suddenly, the social isolation became a keyword. So in order to cope with this situation, people have been looking for small things to be healed. I think that is cooking and enjoying food. So I think these days, I think that's the cheaper way of healing during this pandemic period. So people started cooking and enjoying food. I think this is the major trend for the last 1 year period. However, this is just a passive reaction to the negative situation. This is not a proactive wellness behavior. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's really insightful, actually. It's very passive. That's right. 대표님, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, since I'm running on mindfulness meditation app, we certainly noticed that there is a kind of huge growth last year. Yeah, people cannot go outside, so they actually are looking for a way to comfort their mind. And this kind of digital device, I think it has been a kind of alternative. And last year, what our community, Wisdom to Point community, put more emphasis on was we actually made this kind of online community activities, and many people really actively engaged it. So I think last year, this year, I can notice many things actually coming into this digital world.
Thank you very much for your answer. Professor Kessler, how about you? What do you think, or what have you seen in terms of wellness trends going on here in South Korea during the pandemic?
Well, the other day, I talked to a friend of mine who owns a pharmacy, and I asked her, I said, what are the things that are selling more? What are some of the wellness trends that you're seeing? And she said that vitamin D, zinc are really popular things that are selling at her pharmacy. And in my research over the last year or 2 years, we discovered, and this was North American data, so mostly North American data, that nature is becoming really popular now. And people are realizing the power, the healing power of nature. And I think that trend globally is going to continue. People do not want to live in the city. They want to escape from the city. They realize the city doesn't do a good job of social distance. So people want to escape into nature, heal in nature, hike in nature. So that's what I'm noticing from my research.
Thank you very much. And I'll send the question all the way to the end of the line there. Deputy, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually completely agree with the professor. I think Korean people are getting closer and closer more than ever after COVID, because people, because of the importance of social distancing, people try to find a place where you can have vacation, where that has a much foot traffic. And I think, the camping industry is booming really massively. And then I think he's on the right track. I mean, I think this phenomenon will lead more people to the life pursuing the value of, having the nature around. And so, yeah, I think I personally hope that this phenomenon will, continue to, after even COVID.
Thank you so much. And if I can just add my personal experience as well, running my wellness company, one of the main topics, I mean, we've kind of touched on everything, but one of the main things that our participants have really mentioned to myself and mentioned to our teachers, our trainers, is the social aspect of it. Now, Professor, just to kind of reiterate what you said, people have felt so isolated. So now we're actively looking for ways to connect with people, but not just connect in a social way, but in a really meaningful way. And there's been such a beautiful flourishing of people who have the same interests coming together online. So it's, again, using technology to make meaningful connections and to really utilize what we have to enhance our happiness, our health, our well-being, because, a lot of people think wellness is just yoga and meditation, but it's not. It encompasses all the aspects that are within our lives. And so that's what I've seen as well in the past year or so. Sorry to just bogart the conversation there. All right, let's move on to the final question. Of course, we're moving into the future. It's a very uncertain time. Of course, we're in the middle of the pandemic still. And going forward, the question is, what areas of wellness and wellness tourism do you think South Korea is well positioned to excel in and emerge as a market leader, especially in the APAC regions and globally, and why? And then a little bonus question, what would you like the global audience to know about K-Wellness? Professor?
Okay. As you know, South Korea has already gained reputation in beauty market, cosmetic products, and plastic surgery. So I think the skincare is another addition we can offer. So I've already talked that skincare could be our representative product in wellness service category. In addition to this, in South Korea, the consumers, they have a very high demand. So, we had to develop very sophisticated, trendy, and technology-backed services. So that example is Healing Cafe, as I mentioned. The customers can enjoy high-tech massage chair. So, this experience shows our superiority, our competitiveness in technology. So this could be another, Korean way of, developing our wellness services. The third part is the K-pop, as I mentioned. K-pop has already gained a worldwide reputation. So this is the time for us to repackage K-pop as another form of wellness service. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will definitely listen to Wellness K-pop. Absolutely. Deputy, same question to you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah, please.
Yeah? Okay. So it was a long question. Going forward, in what areas of wellness and wellness tourism do you think South Korea is well positioned to excel in, especially in APAC region and across the world? And bonus question, what would you like the world to know about the future of K-wellness?
I think like our kind of past, as I said, like a 정자 culture, and the kind of the current culture. I already mentioned that like a 찜질방 could be the kind of current culture of K-wellness. I think that actually has different perspective here. So Korean society, we are quite used to get it done, get it so fast. Efficiency is really important. So if you see 찜질방 culture, there is a very good like perspectives, but also like you imagine that like you got so stressed from your everyday lives and just you need some quick solution and you go to 찜질방 like 1 hour, 2 hour. Okay, I got so sweaty, I had food, really good food, now I'm okay, and going back to your normal life, and getting also stressed, like that actually kind of like a repeated cycle, right? But I think our ancestors knows the importance of being close to the nature and make this kind of wellness culture as a part of their everyday life, not something special that you are doing using money and time for short period. So I think the future of K-wellness also needs to be a kind of lifestyle, not a kind of looking for special activities. Yeah, and I think K-wellness has that really deep, how can I say, like a sophisticated root. Yeah. So for me, like if you ask me what I would like to have as a K-wellness, rather than the question like what you think that it would be like. What I would like to have is like a kind of slow lifestyle, yeah, enjoying the nature, yeah, with nature.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's absolutely right. There's got to be space for a culture of wellness to be cultivated. And if there's not that space, you can have all the products, but people won't use them in the right way. Right? Absolutely. Brilliant answer. Thank you so much. Professor, I'll move to you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm ready for the answer. So I think of this a little bit differently because I'm from another country and I see the whole playing field. I'm originally from New York. And I've been talking to my family a lot over the last several years since this pandemic. And I don't know about you. I don't know. Maybe Koreans are just focused on the Korean news or what's happening in this part of the world. But in North America, in Western Europe, COVID is much worse. And it's really sad, obviously. It's a really sad thing that this is happening in every country all over the world. But to put things into perspective, compared to most other countries, I think Korea has been handling the pandemic much better than most other countries. It's one of the few countries that have been accepting international students. And even the other night, I was with a colleague or friend that he came to Korea 6 times in the last 2 years because he has a special visa. And Korea is very organized in terms of this. And I was so impressed. And when I tell these stories to my friends in New York, and they cannot even believe me, they're jealous of the fact that yesterday I can just go to a Starbucks and then go to the beach and I can live almost a new normal life compared to some of my friends who are in lockdown for the last 6 months. So I think that this is an opportunity for Korea in general, and especially Busan, because Busan is the best place to live in Korea, is an opportunity. This reset, this great reset, is going to be an opportunity for Korea a window of opportunity that Korea could use to take advantage and be a leader in the 21st century wellness tourism travel.
Thank you so much, Professor. Yes, it is an incredibly safe country and safe city. And finally, 대표님, on the end, shall I repeat the question?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I think, it's obvious that what I'm going to maybe answer because I cook. I think Korean gourmet tourism is promising. As we all know, pop culture is getting popularity all around the world, and that interest draws more interest to the Korean food, which is good, I think. But I think the gourmet tourism shouldn't be limited to simple tasting experience. It should be much more than that. I mean, I assure that there's much more than kimchi and bibimbap in Korea. Korea has much more to offer. And I think in order to be a visible player in tourism industry, we have to provide full authentic gastronomic experience, which includes the history and the environment behind with the story. For instance, we are in Busan, and then if you come to Busan, people shouldn't just eat the famous Korean food, I think. We have beautiful seaweed produce, especially in the East Village called Gijang. And then in our custom, like nursery moms have seaweed soup for weeks to get covered because there are lots of calcium iodine in seaweed. And we are doing that. That's what we do, what locals do. And then, maybe take people to the sea farm or let people taste more of the authentic local produce. And that combines the comprehensive gastronomic experience. And that's the thing that we should pursue, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I would have to agree with you as well. One of the beautiful things, as obviously a non-Korean, if you didn't know already, 난 부산 아줌이 다 됐는데 I'm not a Korean just yet. But the one thing that I am always just so impressed by is the beauty and the richness of the local culture. Wherever you go in Korea, now 역시 난 부산 사람인데 I'm a Busan person, so I love Busan. But no matter where you go, you have this vibrancy and this unique regional culture that just permeates every part of the food, the landscape, the dress, the songs. And I think we need to share that as well as part of what K-Wellness really is in the future. And I would love to just say the future of K-Wellness looks so bright because we have our fantastic experts, people in the industry working hard to make sure that it's definitely something we're going to be hearing a lot more about as time goes on. I want you all, please, to put your hands together for our wonderful panelists. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. I'm going to ask you all to stay here just for a second because we've had such wonderful opinions, we've had wonderful thoughts, and now we're going to take some wonderful pictures. So 사진 촬영, 네, 잠시만요. And if you just bear with us while we take a few shots. 지금은 안 할 거예요? Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so what we're going to do is, with a round of applause, please say goodbye to our fantastic panel of experts. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. So please watch your step, nice and carefully. Well, thank you so much once again to all our experts, to all our panelists, all our speakers from today. It's been an absolutely fantastic event. I'm so sad that it's almost time to say goodbye, but before we do close the conference, we would love to hear your comments about wellness, of course, but about BIWC 2021. So behind me, in just a second, you will see, there we go, a QR code which you can scan, and that is a link to our survey. So please do scan that and submit your survey. It will be a huge help to us. Now, the survey will last just a couple of minutes, and no personal information will be requested. Your help does ensure, however, that we can continue creating these events, these opportunities to connect, and of course to bring more and more wellness from Korea to Korea and to the world. So I'll give you a few moments to scan and complete the survey, and please do let us know what you think about BIWC 2021. Well, if you're not already finished your surveys, please do continue to fill those out. But sadly, it is time for me to start closing our event for today. Whatever you have experienced today, I certainly hope that you have enjoyed yourself. It is the end of BIWC 2021 Day 2. From the keynote speech to K-Wellness seminars, mini wellness sessions, we've had networking, we've had talk concerts, and we've had lots of chances to connect today. It's been a wonderful, wholesome, and engaging event. Unfortunately, it's time for me to say goodbye, but I hope that you did get closer to wellness that's right for you. I hope that you learned from our fantastic speakers today and also got an idea of how we can move forward together into the future. BIWC is incredibly proud to have brought everything here for you today. So thank you for attending. Thank you to all of you from far away. Hello and sadly goodbye for today. Thank you to all of you here. 와주셔서 대단히 감사하고요. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. And of course, thank you to our phenomenal speakers. 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Once more time for our speakers today. Now, to everybody here, of course, the pandemic has meant that nothing is normal anymore, but we do have a new reality. So hopefully we can see you on site with lots more people at BIWC 2022. Now, before I do leave, I'd like to make a short announcement about tomorrow's schedule. Tomorrow is the last day, so sad, of BIWC 2021. It's the Be Mice Wellness Tour. So participants can experience wellness directly. We have prepared something fantastic. Jen Pham from today will lead yacht yoga. So it's called the Yoga Yacht. And you can have a healing leisure tour of the beautiful ocean of Busan. And of course, experience some very relaxing and gentle yoga on the decking next to a yacht. Ocean sounds fantastic, right? Please do, if you're joining the tour, wear comfortable clothing and footwear. Bring your water bottle. Also, don't forget sunscreen because it's Busan in the summertime. And the tour program will proceed in a very small group in accordance with the quarantine guidelines here in Busan as per the government's recommended guidelines. I really hope that BIWC 2022 will bring us all together, so many more people here and so many more people able to share in all the wonders of wellness. Please don't forget to participate in the events that are continuing on our SNS. Lots of prizes, and I know you love the prizes. I know you do. So visit our Instagram, our website, and our official Facebook. Just search for BIWC_official. To everybody, 진심으로, as your MC,
And as the co-founder of BIWC, I want to say thank you so much for attending. I want to give our sincere thanks to everyone who has helped organize, to all of our tech team, to our interpreters, and of course to you, our participants, who have just made this day fantastic. My name is Laura McCluckey, and it's now that I say goodbye for BIWC 2021. Shape your wellness, share with the world. 감사합니다.
(1985년) 부산 도시철도 1호선 개통.
오빠야, 이제 지하철 생겨서 안 늦겠네.
세월이 흘러도 부산 도시철도는 변함없이 약속을 지켜드립니다. 35년간 함께한 약속 지킴이. 부산 도시철도는 신뢰입니다. 부산교통공사.
부산 도시철도. 이제 부산교통공사가 시민의 꿈과 희망을 싣고 새로운 100년을 열어가겠습니다.
오늘 하루도 내가 나로 온전하게 있을 수 있기를.
The birds fly south as the
지금 이렇게 바쁘고 마음이 분주하다고 생각했는데 내가 진짜 정말로 지금 해야 할 일은 무엇이지? 지금 내 몸이 어떻게 느끼고 있는지 한번 알아차려 봅니다.
네, 저희 만만한 녀석들은 부산의 마이스 산업이 좀 더 지속 가능한 산업이 될 수 있도록 처음 구조 설계부터 분리와 적재 그리고 설치를 고려하여 만들고 있습니다. 또한 이렇게 버려지는 자투리 나무를 활용하여 또 다른 상품들을 만들고 있어 친환경적인 기업으로 거듭나고자 합니다.
모다라 업체는 부산의 이미지뿐만 아니라 한국의 이미지를 다 모아서 주로 섬유 제품, 문화상품을 개발하고 있는 업체입니다. 가방이나 스카프 등을 지금 현재 제작을 하고 있습니다. 그러니까 지금 현재로는 부산의 이미지를 가지고 개발을 시작을 했지만 이 다양한 컨텐츠를 개발을 하게 되면 부산의 여러 기업들, 그러니까 신발이나 도자기나 전자제품, 자동차까지 같이 공생해서 협력해서 제품을 개발할 수 있다는 점이 크리에이티브한 점이 아닐까요?
가족, 연인, 친구, 소중한 이들과 함께하는 특별한 추억 만들기. 신나는 음악에 몸을 맡기고 시원한 바닷바람에 마음을 맡겨보세요. 부산의 색다른 매력을 만끽할 수 있는 요트 투어. 아름다운 바다 위에서 즐기는 요트 체험, 요트 위크와 함께하세요. 이곳에서 꿈은 현실이 됩니다.